Hello everyone and welcome to another casual review. Today I'm talking about Mega Man 5. I'm back from my Mega Man sabbatical and feeling more mega than ever. I was actually alive when this game came out. It came out in 1992. Still a little bit before my time. I was probably too young to be playing video games at the age of 0. As far as the plot goes in this game, Proto Man of all people kidnapped Dr. Light and is in charge of a league of evil master robots. So once again, we must go through all 8 levels and defeat the master robots and gain their abilities and then stop Proto Man. And I'll let you guess who's behind it all. I don't want to spoil anything for a game that is 29 years old at this point. In terms of things that they have changed, the charge shot looks a lot cooler, and I felt like I utilized it a lot more in this game than I did in Mega Man 4. It might be in my own imagination, but I feel like it covers a wider area as well, and it just seemed to be a little more effective and do more damage than it did in Mega Man 4. I felt like the level designs in this game were a little more interesting as well compared to previous Mega Man games, like Gravity Man's level does that whole thing where it alters the gravity so you're running along the ceiling instead of the floor, or does that snake thing that you see in Super Mario World. So I imagine that this game came out before that one, where it's just like the snake block that moves along and you have to make sure you stay on it, or like you have to shoot out the columns and then the ceiling will collapse above you. Just interesting little mechanics like that make it seem like they are really thinking their level design out rather than just jump from platform to platform. As far as the bosses go, I felt like the boss fights themselves were a little more enjoyable compared to the older Mega Man games as well. You can actually read the boss's attacks and they give you time to react rather than it just being this chaotic mess of the first Mega Man where you just have to hope that you have the super effective ability and shoot them over and over again. In this game, each boss still has a super effective ability that you can use against them, but you have to use it a couple more times than just 2 or 3 shots and they're dead. You actually have to read their attacks and learn how to dodge them, and it gives you the opportunity to do so rather than, I just felt like the older Mega Man games bosses just seem to run up and touch you, and it's more like a game of tag rather than trying to avoid their projectiles. I really didn't have to use the rewind that often in this game, actually. And that's just for this game overall, not just the boss fights, but the platforming that I talked about. It all just feels a little more fair. Now, it is still a difficult game, but it feels like it is my fault if I mess up, rather than the game just being really cheap. Now, there still is some old game shenanigans here, but not as frequently as the older Mega Man games. I felt like the soundtrack in this one was lacking compared to its predecessors. As much as I love the gameplay in this one, the soundtrack isn't as good. It's more just like typical chip tunes rather than really good bops. However, my favorite song in this game would probably be Starman's level. They really accurately depict this kind of astronomical sound. And this level in particular, Starman's, has a pretty cool feature where it has a low gravity, so you jump super high just like you would in the water in other Mega Man games. Waveman's level was actually pretty good as well in terms of the sound, and you actually get to ride this little jet ski thingy in the water, which was a fun segment. I appreciate that despite this being the 5th Mega Man game, and despite the premise and the mechanics all seeming to be pretty similar to its predecessors, they add different mechanics to and build upon it, and it's like a breath of fresh air. Now, that might just be because I took a little bit of break between Mega Man 4 and Mega Man 5, but this just one feels a little more innovative. Now, in terms of Rush abilities, you do have Rush Coil, which acts slightly different than previous Rush Coil abilities, where instead of a spring that launches Mega Man up in the air, Rush himself actually jumps up in the air. Then you can jump up off of Rush Coil, which I think utilizes a little more mobility, so that's a welcome change. Rush Marine is no longer here, which that's fine, because I never really used that in previous Mega Man games. In replacement of Rush Marine, you unlock this little plunger thing that you can shoot to the wall and it sticks to the wall, similar to something like Luigi's Mansion, but then you can jump on this plunger to access higher areas. And then, of course, Rush Jet is similar to Mega Man 4. They didn't change too much in that aspect. They brought back another shield ability, just like Leaf Shield. I think it Starman's ability, where it's just stars that rotate around you. This time, much better than this Skull Barrier game of one of those previous Mega Man games. You can actually launch this one again, just like you could in Mega Man 1 with the Leaf Shield. Gyro Man's ability is basically like a worse Magnet Man's ability, where when you were using the Magnet ability, it would automatically flip 90 degrees to target the enemy. This time you have to manually target when you want the gyro to shoot up or down. Which, if you have the timing correct, that's fine. One benefit that I think that Gyro Man's ability has over Magnet Man's ability is it seems to have a wider area to hit an enemy, so it gives you a little bit of leeway if you can't quite get that timing down. Charge Man's ability is kind of cool by the premise, but it kind of reminds me of Top Man's ability, where I like the idea of it more than I actually like to use it. Basically, Charge Man's ability is when Mega Man slides, he does damage and he is invulnerable for a minute, but it only goes the distance that Mega Man's regular slide does, so you really have to make sure you use it right next to the enemy so you actually clear through them if you don't destroy them, because if you stop halfway through the enemy, you will take damage, and I just wish that Charge Man's ability went a little bit farther and gave me a little more leeway to clear the boss's size rather than stopping halfway through. Another innovative little feature that they added here is each level has a hidden letter that spells out Mega Man 5, but the 5 is just a V, so it's like the Roman numeral of it. And if you gather up all of these letters, you unlock a new special ability. A new character is introduced by the name of Beat, and he's like this little robot bird that helps you out. And he will automatically target enemies. However, this does consume ammo every time he attacks an enemy, so it's not like he is just more like a companion while you play the game. You have to use this in lieu of using a regular ability. I was able to find all of the letters pretty easily, and I had to use the rewind feature in order to get them because some of them are a little dangerous to try and attempt to grab. It's not like they're that hidden. I did struggle finding the letter G in Wave Man's level. I think that was behind a hidden wall. That's one of the things that this game has a lot more compared to other Mega Man games, are hidden walls, which I think is a frustrating mechanic. But yeah, as far as the other letters, not too many were difficult to find. I just had to look up that letter G. But to unlock B, it's like B is cool, but it's not like an automatic win if you have unlocked Beat. He is helpful fighting bosses that are like flying up in the air, so Beat can go up and hit them when Mega Man couldn't normally hit them with his little pea shooter. This game also introduces M-Tanks, and they are like a really beefed up E-Tank. So E-Tanks heal you up all the way. M-Tanks heal you up all the way and then refill your ammo for every single ability. So they are extremely beneficial, especially late game if you have a couple M-Tanks on hand. I don't know, it might just be because I took a break and played some Pokemon in between 4 and 5, but I really enjoyed this game, and I probably had the most fun playing this game than I have from any other Mega Man game this marathon. Everyone says Mega Man 2 is the best, but I actually think that Mega Man 5 is better than Mega Man 2. All these new implementations, and it just feels more fair in my opinion, rather than just trying to gimp the game. Like, I felt like in Mega Man 2, the only way that it makes it really easy is if you get the super effective abilities on the bosses. And in this game, it always felt like I could manage defeating all of these bosses with just my regular charge shot if I wanted to, because I was able to read the attacks. Overall, I want to say that this game is great. I don't think that it is a 4 out of 5. I do think that it is a 3 out of 5 along with its predecessors, but I just will say that I think it is the best Mega Man game up to this point. Well, guys, that's it for me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about Mega Man 5 or the Mega Man series in general, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm going to hop right into Mega Man 6. Let's ride this Mega Man train. I'll talk to you later. Bye!